Evelyn, Jason, Oriana, MVP banning out Anivia, Blitzcrank, and Vlad. You'll see Frost, Sona, Skarner, Kennen, Jackson, Katarina in that order. MVP going Ezreal, Rengar, Karthus, Alistar, and a last pick Shen coming in.
Yeah, it's surprising that Shen actually lasted that long.
Yeah.
But, the Shen Karthus is such a devastating combo. Like, having those double globals, it really protects you early on in the game, but it's also incredibly powerful in the late game. So that's actually, it's a really nice comp for them. They have the aggression with Rengar in the jungle as well. They have, you know, arguably the strongest AD right now in Ezreal. So they're in a great situation. Alistar, look, this is like team OP. What is with MVP's team? This is literally, all these champions are, you know, all banned most of the time. And that just goes to show Frost, their confidence as a team. They have a very strong team as well. They have Sona, who's arguably the best support. MVP coming in for an engage. If Skarner gets caught out, it's really close to a flash taunt, a flash pulverize or something, but he gets out of there. But, you know, the picks for Azubu Frost are very strong as well. But it's interesting when you note teams that give up these strong picks, it's a confidence thing. And CLG used kind of the same team. It's that they know, all right, we can beat our opponents even with them having these, you know, great picks, because we're going to pick a team that synergizes very well. We're going to pick a team, you know, that allows us to play our game, and we're going to just beat them with it. So definitely an interesting situation. Katarina, we've seen how strong she can be throughout. You know, having Skarner, he's arguably the best control jungler and allows you to pick up early kills and control the map. So it's going to be an interesting thing. But AD Kennen, you know, that's it's not AD Kennen, it's AP Kennen in the bot lane.
What? Say what? Well, he could also, you know, he could be building that hybrid build. And granted, yeah, from the runes, he probably has.
Hybrid build, you don't start off with 20 AP though, but yes, it will probably be a hybrid build.
It could go into it, but you know, with that AP, he can get that extra harass coming on in. I
love this though. This is, I mean, we haven't seen this. We've been wanting to see people do interesting lanes for a while now.
Yeah.
It's kind of standard to run AD and support because ADs don't need levels, they just need farms, so the support helps them out. But not even running a main AD carry. They have Jax. I mean, they're going to have plenty of damage output.
Right.
Kennen, it's funny because Kennen can single-handedly win games for you in team fights, and he just still hasn't been played in a while. But already, Alistar coming up top, Jax plays defensively, but look at Azubu Frost coming in for the invade. Skarner already has his red buff, and they're just shutting down Rengar. And that's what Skarner looks to do, and that's in particular what a strong bot lane can do for you.
And Skarner going to be meandering actually back to the mid with both of those double buffs, one of his own and one from the enemy. But MVP realizing they may actually go for an invade. They're just sitting, laying wait.
Korean Dandin.
Dandy. He's sitting in that bush. He wants to leap on somebody, anyone. And here comes Katarina. They're getting a vision. There's the leap down on to Kat. You got Karthus. Cannot clear the way just quick enough, though, but it's okay. You got the quick kill onto Kat from Rengar. That is the first blood going to the jungler of MVP, and they're going to be still coming in for the steal onto this blue buff.
Yeah, the early damage on Rengar is insane, and once he gets his ultimate, that's going to be even worse. But they forced a good situation for themselves. Yeah. They know tour bot, they're able to bring their support down, and so a lot of times in a normal lane setup, that would be a 2v2 or maybe a 3v3, but because Alistar is up in the top lane, it gives them that advantage, and Katarina falls a little bit behind. Though Katarina, it tends to be a pretty even lane, Katarina versus Karthus, and it will tend to be a farm lane. Karthus can't really bully anyone around, but Katarina also probably won't be able to get kills against Karthus. You know, it's interesting. If Katarina can snowball, she can, and then she has the mobility to dodge the layaways and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But right now, MVP, they're actually in a great situation to hold off from any early aggression from Azubu Frost and try and get themselves into the late game.
But to add on to that, though, while the Katarina does have mobility to avoid the layaways, she also has the mobility to go to other lanes for the ganks. Karthus, I mean, he's not as mobile as a champ. He just sits in mid and hits R if he's needed. So Katarina, that option is available. Hop in the top, hop in the bottom to try and get those kills once you hit 6, once you have that DFG.
Oh man, but the harass from Kennen is absurd already. Using the stuns to take advantage there, and it's interesting. Azubu Frost, the kind of strategy they're running, not running an AD carry, it's going to be very strong in the mid game. Like they're really going to be incredibly powerful. Jax is still going to scale well into the late game. Katarina is still going to scale well into the late game, but they don't have you know, quite the same poke that you would have in fights normally. It's kind of an all-in strategy. Like their team, you look at them, they all have to dive into the enemy team, and they're all going to be sitting right on top of Karthus. So that's kind of a scary prospect, and that's going to be the benefit as the game progresses. MVP, if they hold off long enough, and don't fall behind, then Ezreal is actually going to be at a really good advantage in this matchup since it's AD versus no AD.
But really that whirlwind for Frost really only needs to work once. I mean, you got Kennen, and you got Sona for stuns, Katarina with a crap load of damage, and Jax is there to help clean up, and Skarner's help there, to help control the fight. If they can just sweep one fight with their massive AoEs and massive damage, they're just going to help. That's just going to keep the snowball rolling. That's going to steamroll into the mid game, into the late game. It only needs to work once.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. They only need to get the good initiation a couple of times, and it's going to be easy. And also the pressure that Kennen puts on the team, it's going to alleviate some of that pressure onto Katarina and Jax. Right. And both of them, if you aren't able to focus them down, are going to be able to clean you up pretty easily and snowball fights very effectively. Both of them can. And so that's really going to be an interesting thing as it progresses. Kennen actually does go for some AD, so it could be an AD Kennen. Like you said, that hybrid. But starting off with a little ability power, that actually might just be to win the lane. And that's actually an interesting thing. If he did go for the AP just to win the lane and then farm himself into an AD Kennen. I would
like to see, I'd like to see get an interview after the fact. It's like, so you pick the AP to win early in the lane? It's like, nah, wrong rune page.
Oh, yeah.
that could also be the case. But for now, though, we'll just say he wants it to win the lane.
Well, that's, the strength of Woong for Azubu Frost. He doesn't even have to run masteries, and he's going to be able to do that. But I don't know. We'll see how that's going to kind of work out. Karthus and Shen, they can definitely hold off very effectively against early aggression. But the nice thing about the AD Kennen is you have really hard initiation. You can win yourself those fights, like we had already talked about that the AP Kennen does. But you also give yourself a little bit more damage. But Jax, he's caught off here. Rengar, if he just takes a step closer, he's going to be able to get that pounce. He's going to get the slow and set up Alistar for a kill potentially. Though Jax still has the flash, and then once this minion wave comes up, he can just leap strike back to those minions.
There is no wards in the river there from Azubu Frost. This Jax could get left on. It's just a matter of reaction time. Can he actually get the Counter-Strike going before again? There you go. There's one Counter-Strike immediately to get out of all that damage coming in from Rengar, and goes back to base. He pops the ultimate. Still above half. He's still in an okay spot, but pings are going down. They know the Rengar. They know he's retreating on in. They know it's about that time. They knew he got red first because they stole his blue, so they know now it's logical that he would actually be going back now. So the 7-minute mark, he's going to be going back to grab his red. Everyone's going to be a little bit safer here for the time being. And also the blue should be coming back up for MVP soon. Also, there may be a steal coming in from Azubu.
Yeah, really nice play by Shy in that top lane to get out of there, but I think that steal is coming. Skarner, he's eyeing it up. He knows, Rengar's a little bit behind, so he can maybe get that in, but he's actually going in for Shen, and not only that, the turret's almost down, so they can easily pick this up. If he gets the taunt, no, Shen just barely getting out of range, but they do pick it up. The flash pull,
still gets
he gets the hook, there's the ult coming in, he gets it. Home's gonna go down, so they pick it up. I know that's not how I'm supposed to pronounce that, but they pick up the early kill, they pick up the tower, and they're in a great situation here.
You got Mima in mid, getting caught by the Katarina ult, taking quite a bit of damage, but the AoE from Karthus is a little bit too much to deal with. But that is a blue going to be stolen from Azubu. That is top tier 1. Going to be taken by MVP. You got Karthus getting very low to the cat in the mid. Does go down. Does have the ultimate, but I don't think he's going to be able to get a whole lot of bang for his buck there. It's only level 1. Will not be able to get the kill on the cat. But with the mid now with mid gone and with Shen gone, that is a dragon for Azubu.
It's because they know the bot was down, and then they still have the top. So having, switching the 2v1 top, it leaves you vulnerable to quick dragons, and they're in a great situation to take that. So they're able to pick that up, and that's a huge, gold advantage. It's a 2K gold lead now. And Katarina, Rapid Start, he's in a great situation to pick up some of those kills. And it's interesting, Katarina is very similar to the Diana, which he has been playing a lot in the past, as far as the mid lane is concerned. You have, some poke, you have that diving potential to get those quick kills. Diana did have the pullbacks, that's, really helps a lot in fights, but you see some of that mid lane control and quick burst from Rapid Star.
Now, this is around the time when you start seeing the lucky pick from Katarina, start looking to build that DFG. But now we see a small deviation actually going in to the Haunting Guys.
It's a great build. It really is, because he has the Haunting Guys and the Sork shoes, so that much spell pen, he's going to kill Mima here really quickly, using the ultimate if he can get that, and he actually can't, but he's in a dangerous spot. Rengar coming in, the headbutt pulverized the Karthus ult as well. He's probably going to go down, barely surviving. No, the ultimate from Sona. Kennen coming in as well, trying to pick this up, but Shen is porting in. They have to get out of there. They're in a dangerous spot. So not able to work, but that quick magic pen, it's going to allow Cat to try and snowball kills really aggressively, and it also gives him health. And that's what Cages doesn't. Cages won't give him the health, so he can survive that Karthus ult, hopefully, but didn't quite work out for him there.
But you also see that's why it's so dangerous to try and dive in aggressively on someone like a Karthus, because you still have the AoE, you still have the slow, and you're still taking quite a bit of damage. But you also notice, too, that MVP does not have a whole lot of CC on their team. It's Alistar and Shen. That's pretty much it. Alistar forced to use the ultimate just to get out of the harass coming in from Azubu Frost. But you also notice, too, Katarina was picked very late at the end of Azubu Frost's picking process when they knew that MVP only had an Alistar for that CC, recognizing, hey, I can ult. Odds are they're going to be using those CCs for initiation. I should be able to get all of my damage.
I swear, though, I'm still trying to work out what Kennen's doing because it's an AP Kennen build. Like, that's pretty standard to go Dorans on AP Kennen just to give yourself a little bit stronger lane. And it's funny because Wound, he was the top lane. He was the top lane for Azubu Frost, you know, prior to Loco Doco leaving the team. And then he switched down to the AD. So it's kind of like Kennen, you know, it's not a standard AD, and he's not playing it as AD right now. He's playing it as AP champion. And that kind of puts him in a situation. It probably is going to be hybrid, though. It's probably going to be a Gunblade, I guess, which is so weird to see. I haven't seen Gunblade in ages. But it's interesting because he's playing. He's like, whatever, I play, you know, whatever champions I feel like. You know, not that standard AD, because I have that experience as a top laner, or he does.
I don't play AD, I play bot.
Right. I don't know that I would say, you know, AP Kennen's bot, but yeah, that's the same thing. It's like IG, that's Z-Tai saying, I don't play AP carries, I play the mid lane. But MVP coming in, they're going to be able to pick up this tower. It's going to be really difficult for them to push back on this, but maybe Skarner can hold it off. And in the meantime, Kennen and Sona wrecking the top lane.
Skarner does have the ult up, though, so one quick pull onto someone squishy, like Karthus or as could be Doom, but there is Shen laying in wait on the side.
Well, when they push up, he can force it behind them. He can come in right behind the turret, force a fight, and that taunt is going to shut them down. But he actually comes back to the front. Dandy getting pulled by Skarner, but this is a dangerous situation for Frost. Unless, Rapid Star can pick this up, they will lose Karthus, but it's a 1-for-1 exchange, a 2-for-1 exchange, and they get the turret. Definitely not beneficial.
Karthus doesn't have the ult up, so he will not be getting a kill down onto Skarner. But you still got the kill, you still got the tower. So I mean, you'll be losing. I mean, 1-for-1 trade plus the tower is not too bad for MVP. They managed to eke out a little bit more of a lead there in the mid. You also got Kennen completely displaced from the rest of the team, but he's thrown down those wards just to try and evade Shen the best he can. And look at the ward coverage. Look at the ward coverage on Azubu Frost right now. 3 wards right there just by the red area. They cannot sneeze up there without Azubu knowing about it. Plus, you also got the red buff looking to respawn. Kennen maybe stealing that. Jax now looking to go to the bot lane to pick up all of that yummy farm goodness.
Yeah, they are fine with sitting back. It's a 3K gold advantage right now for Azubu Frost, but they can continue to farm. They want to get him, but Kennen's trapped. They know Kennen's here. Kennen's not going to be able to get out. The flash right over the wall, just barely getting out of there in time.
They're all sitting there confused, like, where's the red buff?
Well, they're not confused because when you see the red buff missing and you haven't lost the vision on the map, you know, all right, someone's taking it right now. Let's catch him off.
There's only one place it could possibly be, and it's in that bush directly behind that pit. He does actually manage to path all the way over there. If you ever are if you ever want to steal the red buff, that's a good place to drag him out too. Kills you a little bit more time. And shoot, in most instances, you're able to get it. Plus, you also have a save escape right through into the Baron bit if you happen to have your flash.
MVP right now, though, they have really great, Azubu Frost, they have great map control right now. And a lot of it's the Skarner, having that Oracles versus no Oracles on MVP. And they're taking their early advantage and just really aggressively pushing it against MVP. MVP, if they can hold off into the late game, your team will definitely work out very well. And then also, Rengar has the potential, and Shen have the potential to hold off for them, because Shen can split push to stall, and Rengar can try and pick people off. So those, if they ever get a kill or 1 kill here, 1 kill there, then Azubu Frost isn't going to be able to do anything. And even with any gold advantage, you lose 1 member, you can't fight 4v5. So MVP's in a great situation to try and take this back. But so far, Azubu Frost just not giving up any sort of leg room. They're just taking and taking from MVP and not giving them an opportunity to get back in.
And in terms of taking, that is 3K of a lead that they're taking here so far. You look at the items, you got Jax, actually got the Hex Trigger and the Phage is building up a little bit tanky there. The continuation of the build on Katarina, actually going for the Negatron Cloak, wants to be sure to withstand all that frontline damage coming from Karthus when you go in for those dives, and also that will be an Abyssal later on for even more Magic Pen if you didn't already have enough. You also got the needlessly large rod now on Kennen, so it will more likely be Azonia's later on, just so you can stay frozen in the middle of those fights with that ultimate, get the stuns off on aerial wall pan going through. And Alistar, before the fight even starts, is already brought down to half. You got the Ezreal True Shot Barrage actually taking a good shave off of some of the Cat on the side. That's the pull. Going for Scar is popped up, but Alistar goes down immediately. Leap on the back end. Jax looking to take out the Ezreal, and Will Rengar has to run. You got the Karthus Sol set behind. He wanted his positioning. He's looking to suicide in. The ult will not get Sona. Not enough damage. Just didn't get the Sona.
Yeah, and that was a great fight for Azubu Frost. They had, like you said, the early damage on Alistar, force out the ultimate, and then they don't want to fight with the ultimate. They baited out, they waited out, and then the second it was down, they had the timing perfectly. Skarner flashes in, gets the pull on him. So Alistar never did anything the entire fight. Like, he didn't get a single pulverize, he didn't get a headbutt off, and that quick 4v5, and the fact that they were missing out on their CC. So all they had left was Rengar and Shen. But Rengar
doesn't even really count.
Yeah, he can't really stop Katarina. So as a result, Katarina was able to snowball that fight.
Yeah.
Jax, he dove right into the backline. And usually you expect Ezreal to be safe, but because of the early advantage, they were able to just rush onto him. And Ezreal was forced out of there and really quickly went down. That's a massive lead. 5K, almost 6K with that Dragon, with the turrets that they have. And MVP's really in a tight spot right now.
Yeah, Jax with the leap strike just zoomed straight on into Ezreal. But yeah, that's the story now. The Azubu Frost, if you take out the hard CC, you win. Katarina comes in with all the damage, and that's all you need. And Alistar with that poke, that was a perfect start to that fight. And now everyone's a little bit more happy. So actually, you got Katarina. It's like, I have enough for the other half of the Abyssal, but I don't have enough to get the whole thing. Thorn Shield, sure, that looks good. Why not? We'll grab that. A little bit extra armor, a little bit extra health to stay in those fights. You got Skarner almost done with the Shirelias, so that'll be a definitely huge help for those engagements later on. Not like they really need it at this point because they're looking pretty healthy here.
And we have the full answer now. I thought it was AP for a while, but it is definitely a full AP.
You got the rod.
So he's going to go for that Zonia's, and they know they have enough damage. They don't need the AD right now, and because the enemy team, because of the gold lead, they actually can't get into the physical armor as much as they would like to. So that's actually the benefits of taking early advantages and taking that mid-game control with the cannon. They can't itemize into armor as quickly as they would like, or itemize into magic resist in order to shut down the damage, since so much of their damage is magic based for Azubu Frost. And they, MVP knows that, but they can't do it. They have the Aegis to try and shut it down, but they're just too far behind in order to get enough damage mitigation items at this point.
Now, if MVP can stall, however, they can manage to stall out for quite a while to start building up into those items. Get a few Negatron cloaks on some people, get some Merc Treads on some people. Eventually the damage will start to lessen, but it's just a matter of can you stall for that long? Can you actually get to that point? Granted, some of the members are actually doing okay. I mean, Karthus, he does have his Rod of Ages before 20 minutes. It's always good on for someone who builds it. And yes, you do have the Aegis on Shen. Rengar, he's got his Brutalizer. He's got actually move 5 moves.
Yeah.
But I think, is he actually working for another Aegis on his own?
He's had the move 5 for a while. He might be, but I don't know. It's kind of iffy.
Yeah.
I think he just needs some quick items to get himself in the game. Because the concern is he's had the move 5 for a while because he wants to pick people off. He wants to get quick kills.
Yeah.
But in an actual team fight, he's just not tanky enough right now. He's going to dive in and he's going to die pretty quickly.
Right.
So, it's just the health and magic resist. It helps keep him in the game. They are going to be able to pick up this blue though, then they can transition. They have a lot of options actually. They could do a Baron in the next couple minutes. They probably don't want to force it because of the Alistar, Rengar, and Karthus, and then Shen. Like that's a devastating team. MVP has a really good team for defending Baron. They could really easily win a fight, but it's they have the damage if they want to. They're that in that good of a situation that they could potentially take it. It's just that AP Kennen kind of slows them down a little bit for the Baron. So we'll see what they end up doing. They can just keep pushing in, but it's going to be tough for MVP to try and not allow Azubu Frost to take any more advantages because they don't have an Oracles, they don't have any map control, and Azubu Frost can just force fights wherever they want.
And now Rengar actually building up onto that Negatron cloak, so he's going to be a little bit more tanky. He's going to be looking for that initiation, but it is difficult, you know, to initiate as Rengar, like you said, without as much map control.
The flash Skarner pull.
Oh, and if you have an Oracles too on Sona, that Rengar's not going to be getting away if he ultimates. So that could be quite unfortunate. You got Jax, he's playing the bait, doing a good job, but there's Kennen with the shurikens over the wall. The cover's been blown, but they see Shen is actually top lane, so they can try and just force out the tower real quick-like and see if they can get a kill before he actually ults on in. Ward coverage going to be taken out, Sona taking that. And right now, Azubu are actually meandering on top.
And it's a great point. You know, that they would like, Azubu Frost would like to get kills before Shen can pour it on in. And they can split push Shen, but this is actually one of those situations where it's really dangerous for Shen not to be with his team. Even if he can ult in, it means they're missing out on another form of CC for Katarina. And so, even though he can pour it in, Azubu Frost might win a fight before Shen gets in there. And then, you know, he wouldn't even be involved. But they see him here, the Ezreal ult comes in. Dandy's already used his ultimate to try and steal. I don't know if it's going to last long enough, though.
And you have the Oracle, so even if he comes into the pit, they're going to see him anyway. Ward down the pit. There is the ultimate from Sona. Gets the stun on Rengar into the brush, but here comes Shen on top of Rengar. Jax flashes.
Down.
Baron is down. Skarner getting the kill, and here comes the Kennen ult, getting all the stuns you need. Karthus is down. Rengar's down. And right now, Azubu Frost should be able to clean up Katarina. Looking for damage. You got Shen just trying to edge out of the pit. Kennen does actually go down. Cat is very low. Sona's very low. Everyone from Azubu Frost is surprisingly very low, but they still got some gusto in them. You got the flash pulverize coming in from Alistar. Jax with the counter strike and leap will be able to get away, but still in pursuit. The taunt not getting anyone, but there's the flash and roll. Will they actually get the kill on the Jax? Ezreal wants it so bad, but you got the body block coming in from the rest of Azubu Frost, blocking the missing shots. Very well coordinated. Azubu Frost will be safe.
Yeah, it was a great play by Azubu Frost. They had the positioning so they could take down Karthus really quickly. They could, you know, pick up kills and then back out of there. But you saw with that fight, they took the Baron, and the worst, you know, thing you can do when you get the Baron is to then get aced. And Azubu Frost, they probably could have forced that fight and, you know, forced out a couple of kills. It was a 4v3 still. They were low, but I think they might have actually won it and aced MVP. But then they would have lost the Barons. They would have risked losing a fight. And so they just kind of retreat, and they, you know, were able to back out of there. So it was a really nice play on their part. And it's tough. You know, Ezreal, 22 minutes in, still doesn't have the Trinity Force. He probably has it now when he goes back. No, just barely not. So he still doesn't have Trinity Force 22 minutes in. And that's going to make it difficult for Ezreal to have enough damage to take down Katarina, have enough damage to take down Jax, Skarner. And they still have to deal with the fact that Kennen's, you know, just walking up and ulting.
Yeah, Ezreal's about like 600-700 gold behind from actually having the full-on Trinity. So, I mean, if he really wants to, he can sell those Dorans and just buy it right up, but that's not really smart at this juncture. You still need that health. You still need a little bit of damage in life still to stay relevant in these fights. But MVP getting whatever push they can because they know they're not going to be able to stay that aggressive for very long, because you do have Azubu Frost here with the Baron buff looking to push up here in the mid. You got Shen up on his own, going to be returning back to the top. And Kennen actually there with by bottom lane was getting that push on. But now moving as a full 5, Azubu Frost going to be looking to possibly push top lane. They can try for that tier 2 top.
And you can see they've cleared out their gold, and that's, you know, always the big thing. They were able to take Baron a couple of objectives. They've bought all their items, and they're in a great situation to win the next fight. The Zhonya's on Kennen in particular will allow them to be, you know, extremely aggressive. But you know, this is the perfect opportunity for Azubu Frost to push back. Here's the concern now, though. They have a short-range team, and they don't have an AD carry, which is going to make it difficult for Azubu Frost to push turrets. If they win a fight, they're going to take the turrets down pretty quickly, but they won't be able to poke turrets down. If they want to fight, they need to just dive in for it. Have Skarner pull someone, have Kennen ult underneath the turret or something. And so they're going to position themselves where MVP, they can just bully around this turret, and if MVP gets too close, they can get a kill, like on Ezreal here.
There's the pullback coming on in. Take out the tower, guys. You still need to do it, but it looks like everyone is melting up pretty quick. You got the double kill onto the cat. You got Rengar just barely getting away using the invis while still ignited. Shen is the only one here left to defend, and that was a pretty convincingly won fight. You got your AoE, you got your damage, and you got your tower. Just Jax brazenly standing up right in front of the tower. Like, hey guys, we're taking your tower. You want to save it? come at me, bro. Do it. The
Yeah.
inhibitor here in the mid should be going down shortly.
They're so far ahead, and they have the initiation that they can tank those turrets pretty easily. They can, have a couple of members that can disengage if they're tanking the turret and need to get out of there. They have, some armor on their team, so that helps mitigate some of that damage. It's interesting. I'm curious if the turret buff had actually hit the Korean servers. But even so, it really is a lot of damage. And no, it doesn't seem
This
like
could be good for
attack
MVP,
speed.
though. This could be pretty good. You got all 5 here looking to defend this push here. You only got 3 members. Now you got Jax. Now it's a 4v5. Katarina needs to hurry up if you want to stay in this fight. Ultimate should actually be back. And there you go, right in the middle of the entire team. That is 1. That is 2. Gone 3. Alistar now being down. That's a double kill for the Cat. And that's it. That's really all you need. The push can continue for Azubu. You have the super minions now pushing on in the mid, and that's it. It's like even when initiating,
Well,
a 3v5 MVP still does not come
It's
out on
the
top.
perfect timing for the Cat. The MVP, they didn't have enough damage to take them down quickly.
Yeah.
The Karthus ultimate wasn't up because of the previous fight, and now Skarner's pool is up, and it wasn't up for that fight, but they have enough damage, so they didn't need it because Katarina was.
Right there.
They had no way of shutting down Katarina because they had already used all their CCs to try and win the fight when she wasn't there, and that left them extremely vulnerable. And you saw how much damage Rapid Star was able to do, and it's such a massive gold lead. If there's not a surrender shortly, then at the very least, Azubu Frost are going to be able to push right into their base and just take everything from MVP and end the game.
And right now, Azubu Frost, considering their lead that they have, they're just too damn tanky now at this point. They're 15k in the lead. You got a Warmogs on Jax. You're gonna have a Randuin's on Skarner. GA on Katarina. You got the Zonias on Kennen. It's too much protection. You cannot, you can no longer penetrate that front line. You have to take someone out with quite a bit of efficiency, and even if you do take out Katarina, who is prime target number 1, she now is the GA. She's going to be coming back, so things are pretty grim.
Yeah, no, it's dangerous. I mean, they really, they actually probably should have tried to engage in Cat there, but I mean, they need to just make a big play. They've needed to make a big play for the past 10 minutes, and it hasn't happened. And it's wild how quickly Azubu Frost has snowballed this game, but it's basically over. Like, there's really little you can do at this point because Azubu Frost is going to stay together as a team, and there's not the hope of picking any one member off because they're all there. They all have the backup. So we'll see if they force this fight. I mean, it's their one last hope. They can try and hold off with Karthus for a little bit, though, and, maybe stall some.
And granted, you do have Shen trying to push back to the top. You still have super minions here pushing into mid. And actually, Karthus is dragging a super minion over. It's like, hey, they need your help to take out this inhibitor. Katarina right in front. There's some CC. There's Alistar with the Fulbright is going to keep the Katarina down. But with all the assists and everything she's getting, it's okay. The cooldown is already back on up. And that is it. That is an ace. And that should be it. Azubu Frost should be taking this one. So they will be leading up here in the group 1-0. They'll be facing off against Najin Sword next. And then LGIM now going to be facing up against MVP White here in the brackets. That's all she wrote. GG, good job, Azubu Frost.
Yeah, they are able to take that. I mean, really just a dominant victory. Same thing with the Najin Sword.
Yeah.
They really are the 2 top Korean teams right now. I mean, Azubu Blaze is in that consideration. Zenix Storm's in that consideration, Najin Shield. But it really is Frost and Sword, and we saw that at the World Championship. But already some, great play from them. And the way this group